No,
Yeah,
no.
it's unbelievable for sure. Yeah, no, it's been quite a day. You know, this morning I woke up quite early as I normally do, and of course read immediately about the Pfizer group coming up with the vaccine. Their stage 3 testing results of over 90% efficiency, which is better than the flu shot. That was a big deal. The stock market went nuts,
Hmm.
and you know, it's a first day of potentially a new president-elect and vice president-elect. Who
Yeah.
knows? If that's not going to change.
So much change.
Yes.
No, no, that's good.
Yeah. Well, you know, not everyone feels that way, and I have friends who don't feel that way.
Right, right.
So I'm respectful that we all have, and that's, you know, you don't have to hate each other over it. I know actually family members who don't talk to each other over it. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's been such a divide of people between politics and this virus. It's really sad.
it's very sad. I agree with
Hmm. Hmm. So
you.
how have you been doing since this all hit? What's happening with Civello and the salons and Aveda?
Which one would you like me to answer? Are you interviewing me
Okay.
or interviewing me? Okay, good.
Well, I'm talking to you too because I haven't spoke to you in a bit, but and I might be writing as we chat as well, and we're recording this, so I'd love to be able to share it on Beauty Hub if that's okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how
Hopefully
is it going
it has the kind of
with
value.
this?
I hope it has value for you. I hope that I'm able to bring some value
Of
to
course.
your audience.
Absolutely. Of course. Yeah. So how are things with the
Yes,
salon?
things are you know, I'm at a pinnacle in every which way. You know, I wish it was physical, but I'm not gonna lie to you. My physical, sitting in a chair doing as many Zoom calls that I've been doing over the last few months, my physical is not in the best shape it's ever been. But certainly mentally, I believe we're in great shape, and also our spirits are highly elevated at the moment. So a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of wonderful hope and excitement, and perhaps I would say the creativity currently that's being exhibited with the collective beauty brands team right now is just phenomenal. It's just so exciting to be around. Given the number of years that I've been involved in this beautiful industry that we're in, you know, there's whenever there's something new or a startup, you know, brand new salon or brand new anything, it's always very exciting. And so to be able to experience it again at the level and with the experiences that we're all bringing to it, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. But
Right.
there's no fear
Well,
around here.
well, I say with this chaos also comes change and opportunity, right? So we've
Yes.
been operating, doing things for so long in our industry the exact same way. And although things were moving at a slow pace, now it's just forced us all to just ramp up on and get on board
Yeah.
on all the changes that are happening.
Right.
I guess my big concern for the industry is are the salons going to be able to hang in there? You know, like at half mast and half the amount of clientele coming through the door. How do you manage that?
Well, that's a, you know, it's a wonderfully important question to ask, and people are all asking that question. You know, I believe that the better salons are operating at about 30% in terms of revenue, less revenue, excuse me, 30% less revenue, 50% less clients perhaps. But I think that there's been many opportunities, obviously, to increase the pricing of some of the services that we have. There's certainly been a lot of COVID charges that have been added, just like every other service provider out there. I think we've seen a lot of that. And of course, a lot of the salons have lost a lot of very good people. There's been a lot of change, a lot of transitions taking place. So we're moving, I think we're, you know, obviously we're seeing this, what we're calling second wave of COVID. And of course, things are looking like we're retreating, we're going backwards. And I think that's normal, and it was called out. But coming out of that, the three things that must happen for our society to return to some sense of normality, and for the businesses that we're all in, service providing industries, to be able to operate at a healthy stage again, we need obviously the vaccine. And of course, the vaccine on its own is just a vaccine, but the vaccine was very important. So with Pfizer announcing today that they are on their way, and they expect to see 50 million doses of the vaccine in the month of December. and then 1.5 billion in 2021, and that's just one of 19 companies that were at stage 3 testing. So I see the vaccine moving forward, and I think that's really going to help influence how people behave. And then I think we need we need therapeutics, because if we do get sick, we want to know that we can get help, and if we're not going to have serious chronic issues with organs failing and damage that can be done on a permanent basis. So having those therapeutics to help prevent the virus from doing further damage, I think, is very important. And then lastly, I would say rapid testing. I think we all want to have rapid testing available to everyone and everywhere, so that when we do enter public space, that if we can do a rapid test and get a yes or no right away, we can move into that space knowing everyone else has also been tested, and we'll feel a lot more comfortable. So I think the combination of therapeutics, vaccines, and rapid testing together is really going to help us all to get back to a place that we'll recognize as life.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, all very good points for sure. And maybe I might add health advice, like how to boost your immune system and how to stay healthy on a regular daily basis too.
Yes, 100%.
Yes. Yeah.
If you're not, this is, and I think COVID's helped a lot of people to get recentered. So, I mean, it's done a lot of things. What I think it's done is stop things from going any further in a lot of ways. I mean, it ended a cycle for a lot of people. It also, of course, in doing that, gave everyone an opportunity to really reflect on what they wanted out of their life. And it also gave us a chance to feed ourselves, to nourish ourselves through physical exercise, through mental exercise. And physically, you could go to the gym more often. Mentally, you could read and learn. And then, of course, spiritually, you got time now to really be, I think, experience gratitude, perhaps, and really go deep into that appreciation of what you do have, and recognizing that what you have is amazing, and it's fantastic. So that state of mind of going into it, and that strength and optimism and the physical strength that accompanies that, so you're feeling strong physically, along with perhaps a little bit of levity in your step, a little bit of joy, really can help a lot. And not everyone's going to have great days every day, of course, but I really do believe that there is a big light at the end of the tunnel. I think we're seeing it right now, and I think that there's, if everyone just believes that and moves forward, this is not just blind faith. This is there's science working, triple time here to help us.
Yeah.
And then we have to do our part. We have to.
Well, and Ray, I've always appreciated your perspective, because I know you come from a space of gratitude and appreciation and mental health and just like collaboration. I mean, that's just been your whole persona for all these years. So it's so true when it's like just this giant reset button for all of us to go, okay, we're off the hamster wheel now. What have we been doing with our lives? Like, is this fulfilling? Is it serving a purpose? Is it helping others? Are we being creative? Are we loving our lives? Or, do we have to make these changes, right? Mm-hmm. So to have somebody at the helm like yourself is a really great thing for the Civello group and for what you've got coming down the pipe next. So I see you have a t-shirt on with a logo there. What's that all about, Ray?
Close to my heart, my heart. This is the brand new and wonderful, amazing hair color line called Color Space, which has been incubating for a little while, months and months, and actually was aided in many ways by COVID, because we had to stop a lot of the other activities that we were doing. And that enabled a lot of us to be able to focus a lot more on really building curriculum and, really working on product development and marketing and looking for how each of us can contribute to developing brands. So there was a lot of work behind it, but I would say in some ways this was born out of COVID. The initial seed was free, of course, but Color Space is the new baby of Collective. It's the first baby of Collective Beauty Brands, which is my next chapter in my story in the beauty industry as a creative entrepreneur. As many people know, I've been involved with Aveda for many, many years, 30 plus years. And it was wonderful, of course. And here I am now telling a new story with hair color with my wonderful partner, Lupe Voss. And it's just, we really look at where opportunities might be, because the world doesn't need another hair color, and the world doesn't need any more products. We have tons of amazingly good products. So we really had to have a good look and see where we might be able to contribute in a different way. And that actually started with us looking at us and starting with who we were and what we represent for an industry, what has been our ethos, what has been our philosophy, and what have we constantly brought to every day that we came to play. And the common denominator there was for both of us was very simply, we just really cared a lot about this industry. We've always really cared a lot. And we've always tried to raise the industry, raise it, help it, support it. We're both strong educators in our own right. We're both very, very creative people. And we saw an opportunity where it would seem to me, at least, that a lot of the larger companies, having been in place for a long time, and of course they have such a strong position and all of those things, it seemed that someone, perhaps hairdressers, coming together and creating a line and creating a philosophy, creating products that would enhance the lives of hairdressers who work behind the chair each and every day. That would do it in a number of different ways. First, we looked at product performance. If you're not going to be the best, if you're not going to come out with a product that is absolutely amazing and innovative, then there's no point. So we set out on a course to make sure that our products were innovative, and we've done that. We use science primarily, and we've come up with some amazing innovations in the product line. Then we looked at education. Both of us have a strong background. Everyone wants support, especially when it comes to haircut. You need to have a lot of support in the salon, especially if you're transitioning from one color line to another, or just every day doing hair color. We learned a lot about how colorists do hair color. A lot of it is memorization, just memorizing formulas, not necessarily customizing what you're making for that individual each and every time. So we came up with the most incredible, and today most of our education support, of course, will be virtual, but we're very excited about getting back into the salons as well. So we have a sort of a two-pronged approach to our support and our education. And then, of course, thirdly, we came up with the financial model, the business model that was, in fact, providing profitability for salons, which is, of course, the number one problem that salons have today, is we just don't make enough money. And of course, COVID has exacerbated that. And so we knew that there was a big opportunity for us to go into the market. We have to create a different model to be able to drive out waste and be able to provide that additional profits for the salon. So those were.
So this model, are you distributing it, or is this going through distributors? Like how will the salons get their hands on this?
Yeah, this is a direct to salon business model. This is we are a virtual sales force. And one of the reasons we decided to do that was because we really felt that carbon emission of cars on the road all day and people on the road, they were also endangering their lives. Being in traffic is not the safest place in the world to be. Or getting sick, and just efficiency, the hours that they were spending on the road. And we saw with COVID, we saw the efficiencies of being able to use Zoom and have Zoom meetings just like we're doing right now. And we saw that there was a much greater opportunity to create a virtual sales force that could be more effective, could be more efficient. And in doing so, again, that reflected both environmentally, but also reflected in our ability to pass on profits and throw the waste out of that business model.
Right. Yeah, and that's definitely a great business model, because I can see the channels of distribution have changed so much, and now even more so during these times, right? And we realize how easy it is to just order online. If you have your sales team and you're there, so are you going to warehouse your products there in your location for now, and then it just gets shipped from there?
Well, it will be a progressive, but yes, we'll have warehouses. We'll have a warehouse here in Canada, and then we'll have another warehouse in the US to start with. And as the business grows, we'll
right.
geographically where the business grows is where we'll set up additional warehouses to be able to distribute. Because there's still a need to be, immediate. There's only so many days that people can wait to get their products. So we want to
absolutely. Yeah. So are you starting in Canada and going to the US, or are you doing all of North America right away now?
All of North America.
Right. Well, that's great. That's
great.
Amazing. Yeah. And so what is interesting and different in terms of like ingredients or the product and the brand itself?
There are a lot of different things about our product line. One of the first things that none of us knew about was calibration. We didn't understand what even calibration meant when it came to hair color. And what we learned was that all brands teach us that from one level to another level, so from level 1 to level 2, should be equal to the distance between level 2 and level 3. When Professor Rizzi, one of the world's authority on hair color from the University of Milano, went to Cosmoprof to study what hair color was, he discovered that in fact none of the companies actually calibrated their hair color equally, that it was more of a marketing exercise, that it was approximations, but it wasn't scientifically measured. And he came back with that finding, and we were the beneficiary of that. So our hair color is perfectly calibrated, which means if you don't have, let's say you run out of 2, when you mix 3 and 1 equal parts, you will get exactly 2. Not a variation of 2, but exactly 2, which is not the case for other people. More importantly, on the form, yeah, it's very interesting. And it was
yeah. So like you said, for education, will a colorist have to learn a little bit differently with your brand? I mean, I know every brand has their nuances, but that sounds like it's a bit of a unique step in terms of mixing color.
No, we were actually taught that in beauty school, that mixing 3 and 1 gave you 2, and the truth is you'll get a version of 2. You won't necessarily get exactly 2.
Right.
That's the way it's done.
Well, it's color theory, right? You mix a yellow with a red and you get an orange. If you mix the same amount of yellow and the same amount of red, you get the complementary, the orange, right? So I guess it's the same kind of concept.
It is, and so what we learned wasn't exactly true. It was kind of true. And now we know that our color line is exactly true. Mm-hmm. And so that's a cool little fact. It won't necessarily change your performance, but it will help you not make any errors when you're mixing. It's going to be more exact when you're mixing. So you'll get exactly what you're mixing. Secondly, and I think this is pretty cool, the pigments, our pure pigment in the hair color itself. So our scientist, our formulator, came from cosmetic industry. So he looked at it quite differently, and he was looking at the size of these pigments, and he realized that he could create a pigment that would have deeper penetration into the cuticle. Therefore, going deeper, it would last longer. So the hair color is lasting longer. It's very shiny, very healthy, and because of those pigments are smaller, they stay inside of the cuticle a lot longer. So that's another thing that, at least as far as we know, is just we're the only ones that have that particular molecule.
Right. Well, I guess it's part of the thing about starting a brand right now these days is that technology has changed so much. So you got to latch on to some of the latest technology, right? Like how many years have you been working on this now?
Not that long, actually. It's really only been in the last, really in the last year that we've been working on it. And as I said, we really, I think no one has ever done things perhaps as quickly as we have, but we do have COVID to thank, I suppose, for allowing us the time to really devote to it in a full-time way.
Right. Well, that is true. That is the thing that kind of stopped everyone. So we had to stop working, and we had to, we had time to do whatever it was, whether it was embarking on a new brand or a new you, whatever that might have been. It did give us that time. So how many SKUs, how many colors in this brand?
Well, and that's an interesting thing too. We looked at all the different, all the brands that are out there in the world that we benchmark against, and they're all beautiful and wonderful, and they make great products. So we looked at the idea of pre-mix versus making your own from a palette where you have all the natural shades, and then you can have additives which boost that intensities for the colors. So we looked at both systems, and what we created actually is a system which offers you either or. So if you're more likely to use a lot of pre-mixed color, we have 25 of the most commonly used shades that are all pre-mixed. And then, of course, we have the naturals and the intense naturals. Then we have a blonding series, and then we have 2 bleaches. So that makes up, and then all our cream developers and our liquid developers kind of makes up. And then we have, of course, our line that's called Zero. And just show off a little bit. And this is Zero. There you go. That's Zero. And this is called Zero because it is ammonia-free permanent hair color. So it's permanent hair color without ammonia. And so for the most part, ammonia-free hair color isn't brand new. It's been around for a little while. but it has a reputation for not covering gray as well as ammonia-based color. And also its ability to lift is another one of the reasons why people, in fact, the industry is still using about 85% ammonia-based hair color for those reasons. So, but our clients are asking for safer products. This is a very big.
Right, that was my next question. Of course, especially your clients, because you're so all about natural and healthy-based products.
And so this is rooted deeply in the idea that we try to create something that would be healthier for the client, be healthier for our wonderful hairdressers who are using this hair. So Zero is ammonia-free, and it does its great coverage matches any ammonia-based hair color. As far as our testing was concerned, we were so impressed by what was created with Zero. But we also have ammonia-based line called Primary. So we are offering primary in the natural shades, and we will have the pre-mix shades coming out later on in the year. And of course, we have the high lift blondes, and then we also have naturals and pre-mix for Zero. So we have Zero and primary, we have ammonia-free, and we have ammonia-based lines, because we know that the professionals out there are going to be looking for both. And it's not necessarily the same salon. It might be one salon who has much more, perhaps more of a concern around ammonia. And ammonia is just harsh on the nose. It's organic. You know, we produce ammonia as human beings. It's just unpleasant more than anything else. So we also have this machine called the Unimix, which heats the product and the color in the bowl. It's in a stainless steel bowl. It heats it and mixes it with a magnet inside. It's very, very cool. It gets a consistency that you'd be.
So does this come with the product? So if you buy the product, you get this special mixing bowl?
Yeah, in many cases you will. In many cases, depending on the size of the salon, but it will be offered to all of our clients for sure. Yeah,
okay.
It's pretty unique. It has, and that's where, for example, if you were using primary, which has ammonia, with that mixer, the ammonia is diffused because there's a lid on it, so it's diffused while you're mixing it. So it's not necessarily extending into the air in any way. So it's pretty good.
Right, interesting.
And the consistency of the product is amazing. It's just so what that does is, of course, it heats it up, so it's now developing all at the same time. So it's cutting down on development time. So it's not being exposed to cold areas. It's evenly processing at the same time. And also it helps with University of Calabria actually did a study, and they said that using this process of heating the hair color while doing it reduces potential for irritation on the scalp as well. So there's that little added benefit as well by using the Unimix.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I've heard of heating the product before applying it, so that is definitely a new technique. So the types of colors that you would find in your brand, are we talking about more commercial, or is there some crazy far out there like vibrant shades as well? Do you have demis, semis, or are you covering the whole gamut?
Well, Demi is coming in the latter part, in the second part of October. So October, I would say somewhere around September 21, our Demi line. And that's an innovation. The reason that it's coming out then is because we're actually making something that has never been made before. It's really cool, and we're using a plant derivative as a base. So there's something in it that I think is very, very interesting. So I can show you here.
Okay,
you
yeah, that's
see the
awesome.
range. You've got all the natural shades, and then you do also have some amazing reds, obviously, and then we have also, these are our push tones, which are designed to intensify any of the shades that you use. So as far as direct dye vibrance, no, we don't have direct dye vibrance, but we do have vibrant tones that you're able to
that you can create, right? And so on that note, what do you see as the trends for hair color in 2021? What are we doing post-pandemic?
Well, yeah, that's very good question. I think trends are usually dictated by a number of different things. What's the social state of humanity? What is the financial state of humanity? And I think we will start to feel like we can exhale with a little bit more ease going into 2021. That, what we've seen is people are really prolonging getting their services done. We've seen that humans want immediacy. They want everything done now. That's why the digital age has transformed how we buy, how we do pretty much everything we do now. And I think where I see hair color in that world, I mean, obviously we've seen hair color, home hair color growth by all the manufacturers that do home hair color. I think a lot of people actually really happy to get back to their hair salon too, because they realize how wonderful it is to have someone do it for you who knows what they're doing.
And how badly they messed it up themselves, right?
And, you know, the damaged towels and the bad work that was at home. I mean, obviously, you know, we don't recommend that, but we do believe that safety, I think, and health and well-being now will be on everybody's mind. I think coming out of COVID, everyone has a higher sense or awareness of environments and cleanliness. And I think we'll see a lot more questions, a lot more people looking at ingredients. So I do think that the trends from manufacturing point of view and from hair salons, I think everyone is going to be looking for anything that might be safer to use and a better process in how they might use it. I think people are going to become more aware also of things like lighting, for example. You know, lighting is one of those afterthoughts when designing a hair salon. A lot of hair salons design beautiful salons, and then they get to lighting and they don't necessarily spend any money or real thought on the lighting.
Yeah, even in the sink area, right? Like you're in the sink and you need to see right away what's happening, and you know they can be in this basin area that really doesn't have proper light, and that's like your first look. So I totally agree.
And then you see them when they're finished doing the hair color, they're trying to show that that client with the hair color looks like, so they march off and they go outside. Daylight. So one of the tools that we've also bringing to market is this light, which will help you in your ability to be able to see, you know, what does light really look like. This is light. It's exact balance of white light at noon. So it's again, it's really based on the real balance of light at high noon. And it has no yellow, it has no blue, it's very beautifully balanced. Now, this is a tool that you can leave on your station. You can just, you know, look at it and you can check your hair color. But of course, I would also look at the idea that you can create a whole consultation station with that perfect lighting over top. It might not be the lighting you want to work on, but it would be the light that you might want to check on the consultation to see what you're starting with, which would be true. And then, of course, when you finish, you can check your work.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a fabulous idea. I mean, me as a makeup artist, you know, I understand the white light and seeing things closely and understanding as you're working, you really need to see what's happening. So that little light is really great. Good for Zoom meetings too. You can set it up all over your station. Well, I was saying right now, you know, we're all doing Zoom, and look, I've got roots myself, but if you just go like this, then you're okay, right? But
nice cropping there.
Yeah. So, and one of the things that came up during the pandemic, and this will just be like one last little thing, is that I noticed people or colorists were sending home color kits, like root touch-up color kits to their clients. What do you think of that at-home type of takeout service for a colorist and for their clients?
You know, Cheryl, we're, you know, as hairdressers, we're professionals, so we always want to make sure that we're providing the best possible work that we can do to our consumers. We've never been advocates of people doing it at home. The pandemic was absolutely unprecedented. We've never lived through a pandemic. None of us that are alive today know what that was like. But we were just trying to help, I think. The hairdressers that chose to do that were saying, look, let's just try to help our clients to stay in touch with them, to provide them with whatever help we possibly can. And there were a lot of people that were going to their homes and doing their hair color. A lot of people were doing that and sending that. But I do think that was the impetus for doing it wasn't necessarily because they were trying to abandon their professional roots, no pun intended, but they were simply trying to help continue. I think if you care about your clients, you do whatever it takes to help keep your clients happy. I think that's what we do. And you know, some people chose not to, some people chose to do it. And if you look at the companies that were doing it, if you look at eSalon, for example, or Madison Reed, they grew 6 times their size during COVID. 6 times. They went from, they were doing 60 million, they were doing 360 million in sales. They were going to go there anyway. So did you want them to go to Madison Reed, or did you want them to go to Walmart, or did you want them to go wherever they were going to go and potentially leave you forever? So it was, I think, a gesture that you wanted to keep your clients. I think those who did it with those intentions to try to keep their clients and continue to serve their clients. And there were people that genuinely did not feel like they could leave home under any circumstances. And if we understand what the salon is or what our hairdressing services really are, beyond the creative, beyond the craftsmanship, which we're also proud of and practice so hard to be very good at, we are really truly, we are where people come to dip into this beautiful, sunshine, this ray of like support, to help individuals to restore their self-esteem, their self-dignity. And after long periods of time, you've been home for a long time. That is what you come to the hair salon for. Of course you want your hair cut. Of course you want it colored. But some people hadn't even been touched for 6 months. When they came to the salon for the first time, it was the first time, even with a mask on, it was the first time that someone had touched them with kindness,
Wow.
caring. And this was far more than coloring hair and cutting hair. And I've always said, we do far more for our society. And I wish more hairdressers would realize and tap into that as much as they tap into their amazing skills and craft, but also tap into the fact that we do change the way people feel from the outside. We do transform the way they feel on the inside, and it's biological. It's your immune system being boosted. It is powerful. If you do it with true kindness, authenticity in your heart, you will be amazing at this always. And so, I think during COVID, I think a lot of people were like, oh my God, I didn't realize how much I meant to people, and really magnified that. And they were so excited to get back to be with people. So that is, I think, what we are, what we do. And so I think the hair color at home story, I know there's controversy over it, and I think people disagree and agree, and that's fine. We should disagree and agree without becoming totally disagreeable with each other. Maybe learn from each other if we listen a little more. And I think that there was no right or wrong there. I think it was if you were making an effort to try and stay in touch with your clients and continue to help them to keep their self-dignity intact. If you did it with that intention, God bless you. You did a great job.
Absolutely. Well, I totally agree. And there's so much positivity and great change that has come from this. And I always love your perspective. I really appreciate us chatting today. You brought up a lot of important things, and we're really excited to see this brand. So when are we launching?
January 11th is the actual launch date. So between now and then, of course, there's still lots of work to do, and we'll be doing demonstrations and other things online, obviously, and then we will begin our journey of being partners, true business partners, true support partners for the hairdressing industry. I'm very excited, and thank you so much for
That's great.
Yeah,
really. Well, I'm excited too. So, and hopefully at some point we can see each other in person, because that would be nice.
That would be really nice.
Yeah. Okay. So thanks a lot again, Ray, and we'll be in touch, and we'll see you on Beauty Hub as well.
Thank you very much. Stay safe. Be well. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye now.
Okay. Bye.